This documentary is about the view on migration in two different countries, Italy and America. We will ask different questions about migration in their own country, so you will have a better view about the opinions of people in different parts of the world.
Hi, I'm Giada. I'm from Italy. I'm 17 and I'm here in the Netherlands for an exchange year.
I'm Katie. I'm 16 from the United States and I'm here for an exchange year.
When I think about migration, I think about the people who want to build a better life. They move to a different area where they think they can live a better life. How does that work for you, Giada and Katie?
I think in a group of people moving from their own country to another one.
To me, migration is the movement of people from one place to another.
What is migration like in your country?
Migration in the US has always been a big thing. Since the beginning, it's always been a cultural melting pot where people from all around the world come and build up a society. And it's still relevant today. Lots of people still come to the US, so you see a diverse ethnic backgrounds all around the country, with some pockets of the country having specific groups, but in general just being very diverse.
Migration in Italy grew a lot in the last 20 years. We have like 50% people come from Europe and 20% from Africa, and most of them come from Albania, Romania or Morocco and all over the world.
People in the Netherlands have very different opinions about migration. There are different kinds of migration, but in the Netherlands the refugees is the most talked about, and it is in the news most often. But how do people in Italy and America look at migration in general?
Yeah, some people can't stand this, and other people think that they shouldn't live in our country because they commit crimes or they still work to Italian people.
The US is always very mixed, very polarized, so you could say half the country has one opinion, the other half has another opinion. So of course, some people think that migration is completely fine, especially if they live in diverse areas where they see the different types of culture and learn to appreciate it, and they're just in general used to it. But there are some people who aren't used to that and they have differing opinions about immigration, and they think that immigrants come and steal work, commit crimes, and are just inferior in general, and they think that immigration should be limited or made stricter or just regulated in a different way somehow. There's even some talk about building a wall with Mexico so that no more Mexicans can come in, because Americans have developed such a fear of immigration and they have a prejudice towards Mexicans. And some people think that legal migration, like legal immigration is fine and they don't care about that, but they have a problem with illegal immigration, and that's why they want to build a wall to stop people sneaking in. But some people don't like it at all. Some people are fine with all types of immigration, so it really just depends.
People have various reasons for migration. Migrants want to build a better life and leave their old lives behind. There is migration based on economic situation, like the people who want a better job. There are also migrants who run away from their environment because there is a war, or simply because it's too dangerous to keep living there. What kind of migration is the most common in your country?
Yeah, most of the people in Italy has migrated in 80s or 90s. It was because of the poverty and later because of the overpopulation in the south of Italy. And only the 30% came back again and the rest stay in their home country.
A lot of people come to the United States from other countries, but some Americans also leave the United States or move around within the United States. This can be for various reasons, such as work or trying to find other opportunities. For example, America is a very big country, so there's a lot of country land, and so people move out from the country go to the cities, a lot of younger people in general, and they try to find more opportunities. So then cities are becoming bigger, the country is becoming less populated, and so then the makeup of the country changes and people are moving all around. And yeah, people can go other places for work as well. Sometimes families get split up by work. People are constantly moving, and that's the moral of the story.
For us, it's hard to imagine what it's like to migrate to a different country, because of war or because the circumstances are bad. Why do you think people migrate? Why do you think migrants would come to your country?
Yeah, people who comes from other country to my country, I think they migrate because of the war or economic problems or problems with the government. And people from Italy migrate because of studies, for studying in a university abroad, or because also it's not really easy to find a good job in Italy. So most of them go abroad to find a job.
There are lots of reasons for people to migrate to and from the US. One reason for people to come to the US is for work. There's the idea of the American dream that people are chasing. And so some Americans do that within the country, and some people come to America to chase the American dream. Um, it's called the land of opportunities. So people find the opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have in their own country. Some people move here just because they want a fresh experience and they think living in the US would be interesting. Reasons for people to leave the US is maybe they don't like living here as much. People move around for education, for work, for new opportunities, etc.
A lot of times, migration is brought up as something negative. For example, in the news. Newspapers can be full of news about refugees. There's always a part in the news about migration, and social media is the platform where you can give your opinion. Unfortunately, there's a lot of negative talk about migration. What do you think of this, and what is your opinion on migration?
Yeah, I often hear people that are against the migration, also some politicians, but I think they shouldn't do it because we are all the same. So why we should discriminate some people from other countries? And it's also not good for the economy of the place and like the country in general, how the world see our country.
America is sort of known for its racist opinions. It shows up all the time in the news, as well as the wall with Mexico. So we have sort of the image and the reputation of not being very friendly to immigrants. I think it shouldn't be that way because everyone, in a way, is an immigrant or like a migrant or a possible migrant at some point. I think we should show empathy and respect to people because we have to think about their situation. No one wants to be denied access to somewhere that's safer or better for them. And it's also like no one has more of a claim on the country than anyone else. You didn't choose where you're born, and you don't deserve something just because you're born in a certain place. It's all just a game of luck. So saying that your country belongs to you is not completely fair, and people should have access to the same opportunities no matter where they're born.
As an outsider, it's hard to place yourself in a migrant's shoes. We will never know exactly what it is they need to feel safe in a country that's not the country they were born and grew up in. How do you think about this? What is your view on this?
I think that if people migrate because of poverty or bad economy, we should give them like a house, job, food, and some money for surviving, and and show to the world that we are an open-minded country.
I think in order to improve the situation with migrants and make them feel safer, we should give them access to more opportunities that integrate them better. For example, language classes or a path to citizenship if they're not a citizen, or ways to get them involved in the culture. And there's also a lot of social work that needs to be done. Like in the community, people's mindsets need to change about migrants, and they need to start welcoming them instead of pushing them away and focusing on the differences. They need to focus more on what makes them the same and understanding the circumstances that they're in, and therefore accepting that they're now part of the community.
Is there someone in your family or friends group who has experience with migration? Why? In what way?
Yeah, I have one part of my family who has migrated like in the 60s, and yeah, they migrated in Argentina because of economic problems here in Italy, so they decided to go away and they're still living there.
You are living in the Netherlands for a year. Would you see yourself as a migrant?
That's a good question. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm living 1 year of my life away from my country because I want to know like new cultures and new language, everything new for me. So yeah, maybe I see me as a migrant.
That's a complicated question because I am in a different place. I've left my old life behind, I've created a new life, and technically, according to the government, I do live here, but only temporarily. So I think it's hard to consider myself as a migrant because I know that I'm going back to America so soon. I hadn't really thought about it before, but I guess I do feel some of the migrant culture, you could say. I feel a distance because I'm foreign and I'm surrounded by Dutch people, and we speak different languages that I've had to learn, and they learn my language, of course, but there's still some gaps in between us. So I don't feel like a part of Dutch society, but I feel like I'm living here. So I guess in a way I am a migrant, but soon I'll be going back to my own country, and so I won't be a migrant anymore.
After the interview with Giada and Katie, we have a better view on migration in Italy and the United States of America. Different parts of the world, various people with various reasons for migration, and different opinions were talked about. Everybody thinks differently about migration, but rules and laws will always exist. It is hard to place yourself in the shoes of a migrant. Judging without knowing a lot about the topic is not always right. We think that the best way to deal with migrants is to make the rules for the refugees the same in every country. But as an individual, we should try to help them when we can and treat them like everyone else. Because everyone should be able to have the same opportunities, no matter their origins.